What it do, YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review Blood on the Dance Floor's All the Rage album from 2011. Now, basically, a few things about this project. Wikipedia has said that this is the least successful Blood on the Dance Floor album with Javon Monroe attached to the project or attached to the band. But I don't know so much if I agree with that. For one thing, Wikipedia doesn't have an extensive amount of knowledge about Blood on the Dance Floor, and I would have to say, kind of, that two of Blood on the Dance Floor's biggest songs, at least in terms of what is shown on Davi Vanity's Most Vivid Nightmares page. This album holds the song Bewitched and Star Power, both of which got in the millions of plays when it came to the hits on the channel and such. So I just would have to say it has some of those, has some pretty good hit singles, has some nice guests on here. Lady No Grady shows up a couple of times. She was kind of a protege of Blood on the Dance Floor around the time, and this has an overall, like, this came right on the heels of Epic. Basically, Epic came out in the fall of 2010, this came out in the spring of 2011, so they were pretty quick to get back into the scene of things and kind of do things. And I would have to say it's not as bolsterous. I definitely feel like if I had to choose between the two of these, I would say Epic is probably the sheer better package, even despite how many massive amounts of songs it has. But this is a nice taste of Blood on the Dance Floor also. There's just some things that Blood on the Dance Floor, I don't know if they realized, but they were kind of a better centerpiece artist for like dance club music than the folks who were dominating around that time, like 303 and LMFAO and Pitbull and David Guetta and those type people. I mean, Blood on the Dance Floor had been doing this sort of dance club sound since like 2008, and they had just mastered like the concept of doing rave music, dance club music, uh, regular club music, and just overall all sorts of dubstep and EDM type nightlife that kind of went along with it. So it just felt like kind of like pretty much I would have said just like a standard exercise for them at this particular point, just seeing all the stuff that was popular that I remember from 2011. When I think of like songs like Party Rock Anthem and You Make Me Feel by Cobra Starship and Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO, Give Me Everything by Pitbull, some of the stuff that Flo Rida was doing, just the various songs that kind of popped up in 2011, I would have to say that minus like the sheer like commercial quality of those songs, I feel like Blood on the Dance Floor probably has one up a lot of the dance club music that was out in 2011. It just has that kind of quality towards it, and it's definitely interesting because the only thing that really stopped Blood on the Dance Floor from having like the sheer quality in terms of hits was just the controversy, and then on top of that, talking about like just like the widespread song that could have pushed them over the edge. I feel like Bewitched was attempting to do it. It is a good song, but I don't see it as like the song that could have pushed them over the edge to hit like #1 and #5 on the Billboard 100 or something. But they definitely do have the hits, and in terms of the quality of in terms of like in terms of the quality of the album, it's chock full of just like a whole dance club night out. I mean, it really feels like something that dance clubs and raves and those type places could play on. Like, it really feels like something that dance clubs and raves can play on like a standard repeat for quite a while. It really feels like a jolt of energy for folks out there who haven't discovered this music and want to have like something new apart from just like the Beyonce Crazy in Loves and like the Justin Timberlake Sexy Backs and some of those type songs and the Rihanna Umbrella type songs. I would definitely say to look into this in a lot of ways because I do feel like this is still kind of underrated in terms of like the trajectory that it got. I mean, it's huge in the alternative scene, the scene and emo scene and that type of stuff. But I feel like I still want to say it could use a lot more kind of like success and that and just overall acclaim and that type of stuff. But I'll go ahead and get to the singles. So the first single is My Gift, My Curse, and this one, My Gift, My Curse, kind of is like a trip hop type song. Really kind of comes off as like a trippy kind of EDM dubstep type song that really kind of showcases what was popular around 2011. And this is just an example of like a crazy one. This is something that maybe David Guetta would do and DJs like that around that time, but it really kind of cranks it up a notch. This is kind of more crazy to the point where it's not just blue collar type stuff and just SFW type stuff. I would definitely have to say it's got a little bit more edge to it in that sort of sense, but it is a good song, an easy kind of song to pit up against and play on the weekend and just have a nice time too. The second single is PULR, which stands for Peace, Love, Unity, Respect. And this one to me was kind of like, I would say Blood on the Dance Floor's attempt at trying to break even into the LMFAO and Pitbull type vibe that was going on around that time. Just a nice approach with that. Really felt like a nice dance pop kind of song with a dance club beat, and it's pretty similar to Party Rock Anthem. I just would have to say this is a nice approach to it. It was interesting to kind of get Blood on the Dance Floor doing that sort of stuff, despite the fact that they were making dance club hits well before. Like I said, the only thing really holding them back was just the mammoth hook or some chick on the, some person like Neo on the hook, something like that that could have really brought it to the forefront. But in terms of quality, this is exceptional type stuff. It is like a substitute for LMFAO and 303 type music if you want that. The third single is GFA, which is Good Fucking Attitude, another one of these. I like this song because it had JJ Demon, Nick Nasty, and Lady No Grady on there. Definite nice approach as far as that kind of went. This was like a posse song by Blood on the Dance Floor. I really liked the kind of uppity tempo of the song. It really felt like kind of doing a posse song in like a dance club type format. I would definitely recommend more rap songs kind of do this. It's real energetic. Davi really did a nice job on there too. It was pretty great to kind of have the lyrics on this song and just kind of have like a lyrical club song, because so many people complain that club songs aren't lyrical and lyrical songs aren't club related. So it's just kind of where you kind of get the in between and just kind of, I wouldn't say that it's a gigantic lyrical song, but JJ Demon is pretty lyrical, and it just overall works as a nice batch of just like kind of rap oriented dance club type music to kind of have in just like a real alternative sense. That's a nice one. And then Bewitched, which is supposedly Blood on the Dance Floor's most popular song. This really came off as like a pop and kind of makeshift kind of alternative song, just with like a romantic kind of tinge towards it. I really like the concept. It's just kind of sluggish. I wouldn't play it in a dance club or a nightclub or something like that. This really comes off to me as just kind of something that you would listen to in the radio on the way to work or on the way home from work. Just kind of that malaise when you look into like the sunsets and that type stuff. This kind of has like that particular kind of feel towards it. It's just kind of evening music and just kind of the malaise of like romance and that type stuff. Just kind of the malaise of romance and that type stuff. So I just would have to say it's a pretty nice one. I do feel like all three of the singles, apart from Bewitched, are probably better than Bewitched. I can listen to Bewitched, but that one just has like a different kind of tinge towards it, where I think that Blood on the Dance Floor was really aiming for something like really crossover here. And I like the concept of them trying to get like a nice crossover song, but I feel like they're better trying to break for crossover with just like a dance club and nightclub type hit. But I'm not complaining about Bewitched to that degree, just because it is a good song, but this is kind of maybe not the angle I would have expected for them to try to break into the spotlight. But they tried a nice makeshift kind of just got off work type song in a romantic sense. That it does have that. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend the 12 songs out of 14 that I recommend to you. It's a lot. This is a quality album, I'm just going to have to say. So the 12 songs I recommend, I have to have two computers sitting next to me because the computer I'm recording the review with doesn't have the space and the quality to get the Blood on the Dance Floor review taken care of. So the 12 songs are My Gift and My Curse, PLUR, Peace, Love, Unity, Respect, GFA, Good Fucking Attitude, Bewitched, Nirvana, X times 3, Find Your Way, Happy Valentine's Day, Yo Ho, All the Rage, the title track, The Untouchables, and Star Power. So to talk about some of these, like I really like the kind of gaming approach. I did like the concept that Davi made a music video supposedly for Star Power. It's a nice kind of dance club gaming type song that really works pretty well. It's clever that Blood on the Dance Floor does that sort of stuff. They made a pirate song on here. That's another one that's really good. Is kind of bass heavy and kind of synth heavy in the second verse, kind of dance bop for having basically like a party rave type song for like a pirate theme and that type of stuff. So it's just interesting. They have a gaming song, they have a pirate song, they kind of have like a Valentine's Day type song. They just have some stuff on here. Bewitched is kind of like the pop approach, and I'm trying to think of some other ones. Like X times 3 is a real nice EDM type beat, and Find Your Way is another pretty, yeah. X times 3 and Find Your Way are pretty similar. They both have some nice touches to them. The Untouchables is kind of a nice mid-tempo cut. This one's a little bit slower in the tempo, but I still like it. It's just kind of a standard dance club hit. Yeah, like Happy Valentine's Day. That song reminded me of like Tainted Love. Definitely kind of similar in like the uppity kind of rock tinge type club bop that it has. It's like a rock pop type song meant for the dance club, kind of similar to Tainted Love. So there were a lot of nice produced songs on here. I really feel like there's just a lot of these, like Nirvana, X times 3, Find Your Way, Yo Ho, All the Rage. All of these are kind of one way or the other, just kind of great dance club and vanilla dance club type cuts. It's perfect for raves and weekend stepping out. Just some of them have dubstep type feels to them. Some of them are more synthy and kind of feel like kind of more dance related. Some of these are just nightclubs. Some of these feel like rave in some cases. They're not quite as rave this time, but it is has some light ones in here. Some of these are just vanilla dance clubs. I don't talk about that too much, but not just vanilla clubs, but vanilla dance clubs. Just something that you could kind of have there. So it just kind of has like an overall just pretty unwavering kind of attempt at just like quality night out kind of music. Just perfect for moving your body a little bit and finding a groove and dancing, having a nice bop to it and finding some chicks to dance with and that sort of thing. It just works in that sort of context. And I would have to say that the singles are all great. The whole album just has like a whole bolsterous type feel. The only two songs I didn't really enjoy that well were just Dark Dreams and then the the song Loving Dead, which includes the bonus track Love Sucks. And I would just have to say about Loving Dead, I didn't like the beat switch up in Loving Dead, and I didn't really care for the extra song Love Sucks on there either. I'm not going to knock that song because it's just a bonus song, but I didn't enjoy either one of the two songs that were in song number 12. And then Dark Dreams, I couldn't really get into the arrangement, just the schematics of how that one works. So it was just kind of, for the most part, like I said, this album is quality the whole way through. So I'm going to give this album a 10 out of 10, me liking 12 out of 14 songs. Because it basically is like a compact version of Epic, where I feel like Epic was packed to the gills. Maybe the songs on Epic are a little bit more distinct and have more energy, but I just feel like the gloss and the refinement of this project is probably better. They just have a more refined, kind of especially dance club and LMFAO type style, where last time on Epic, it was kind of more and just kind of like an emo and kind of more hot topic sense, kind of similar to the music that Jeffree Star was making and that type of stuff. But this expression about this project kind of goes with like the popular trends of 2011 and the early 2010s with like EDM and dubstep type stuff, and then like some rave type stuff in there, just very similar to the stuff that LMFAO and 303 were doing. And that was kind of the stuff that revolutionized the sound around that time. But it was just great to see how well that our Blood on the Dance Floor adapted to it and handled the sound and did it. I feel like it's just quality stuff. They're on par with a lot of the dance club greats that made music around this time. And this is definitely a party album that you want to get and continue to have on quick standby on speed dial, basically. The social score, I might as well give the social score a 10 out of 10 too. I think I will, just because it just at least 12 songs, even the songs I didn't like were kind of dance club oriented in some way. So the whole album is just chock full with just expressing as far as moving your body and kind of having a night and getting your groove on and that type of stuff. It's just a perfect little project for that. It's probably cheaper than Epic is, so it's definitely an album to get if you don't want to spend 55 $65 for Epic, but you are willing to drop the dollar on like All the Rage. It's a decent kind of like bop towards it, even if I feel like this time the songs are not quite as alternative tinge and as scene tinged as Epic was. I feel like Epic had more songs like Horrifically Delicious and Sexting and some of those type songs that just kind of had a little bit more emo edge to them. I mean, it still is pretty scene and emo tinged in this time, but it just has, I think this is really an album that they were trying to break a little bit further into the mainstream, and it doesn't have as much of the alternative tinge, but it's not like it's bad. It's just, it's more, it kind of consolidates it and goes with like trying to break even towards the spotlight a little bit more. Epic was just more alternative. But I liked both of them. They both got 10s out of 10. They're both quality. And this is kind of a scene album, but just not as to the degree that Epic is. So in terms of can this record be top? Not really. This is quality, pretty assured. You need to get this and find it. And in terms of the future, like Blood on the Dance Floor has been finished making music since 2019. And Davi can't really put out music anymore in terms of albums, but he still drops songs. He has some songs that are coming out this month on his page, so you can check out some of those. That's just kind of the concept there. Definitely would recommend finding this project and having yourself a bona fide party to it.